Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video, we'll be going through the AFLW rookies as we get closer to the season, being that it is starting up on Thursday, so we are pretty close to this season starting, and we're starting to get a little bit more, I would guess you would almost say, data in a way, just on who's expected to debut. Some already named, where they're playing, etc., who's got the better roles, price point, what they can sort of average in general, or we're putting together projections and stuff like that. So I thought I'd come out with my sort of AFLW rookies. I know that I'll probably miss a couple just because there's going to be one or two that pop that I haven't really looked into as much. That sort of tends to be the way it is, and you just got to grab them up early and really just, grab up the cash generators, because that is the difference. Getting cash generation is big. It doesn't, the points on field early does matter, but not as much as just getting the cash gen, because being able to finish off your side is huge. So anyway, let's just jump into this video straight away. So Wrench is someone that has definitely come to my attention a little bit more since the practice game started. If we do look at this, I've definitely been looking at this from Jaden a little bit, and we can see here are the stats and the ownership for Wrench. In the practice game, she scored a 70, 17 touches, 3 marks, 3 tackles, etc., and 4 free kicks. That's a perfect stat line. Doesn't have to rely too much on something, but she is one of those taller midfielders, which does probably help her case a little bit. If we just go and look at Jess Wrench on Rookie Me, hopefully that will pop up here. You can see here, I believe she's 172. Yeah, 172 for a female midfielder is a decent enough size. And nearing on key position, another couple of centimeters key position. And yeah, so she's a really good height. And if we just look at this as well, you can see the explosive speed, run and carry, defensive pressure, etc., strength. That's a really good set of traits for a midfielder. Especially with how the AFLW works with the tackles being so important, and you can see strength and defensive pressure being two of her strengths have been really, really good to see, and I really like this. Obviously, she's not going to do the 70 across the season of what she did in the practice game, but if there's an avenue for a cheap defender to go sort of 55, I think this is it with Wrench. She has the characteristics, she has the scoring potential. If we look at her we look at her junior games here, you can see in the Coates Talent League, 12 games, 15 touches, 5 tackles. That's pretty good numbers. I know in the under 18s, I'm pretty sure she was shifted back and forth, etc. But you can see in the Waffle last year for East Perth, she had 13 touches and 9 tackles a game. That's 36 points. That's already beating her price point. If we just make this a little bit bigger for you guys, there you go. You can see it a little bit better. You can see here 9 tackles. That's already beating her price point comfortably, as I believe she's priced at probably in and around that 24 or so range, 25. I believe she's 317. Is she 317? 314. If we go 314 divided by roughly the magic number, which is roughly that, she's priced about 25, give or take. So yeah, that's a pretty good price point. If we just actually go through this and find someone, I just want to see if there's anyone priced in and around her range at the 314k, and you can see, I think she even played, she's priced at 24.3, which is a pretty decent number there. So let me just figure out what exactly that is for the magic number, 12.9. Okay, so yeah, 24.3. Pretty happy about that with her there, and I think she'll be the most common D6 out there. I think some will run with her at D5. I'm a little bit worried about that at D5, just more so the covering strength in defense, but I guess you could say that is an all right cover there. We'll get to her later. Fowler, I don't really understand this play that much. I haven't really seen her prop up that much in pre-season, to be honest with you. So yeah, I don't like this play as much as others. I don't even think she will be playing for Collingwood, to be honest with you. I don't even think she's in their best 20, sort of even 22, 23. So obviously they'll have potential injuries and stuff like that she could come in for. But if you're not in sort of the best 22 outright, you're kind of struggling a little bit there. Dunlop should take the number 1 ruck role for Geelong this year, which will be an outstanding role. I think and one thing I think you'll see me sort of stress throughout this video is with Harris taking a horrific role, which we'll get to at Gold Coast, as well as Centra, who's on track to play, but very, very iffy. Anyway, in a quite iffy role as well, but she'll still score, but she won't score as fantastic. The rookie class this year, I don't think has the scoring strength of what it's had in previous classes. Like we had Goody, Window, who else last year that all went they all went big. I'm forgetting who it was, but yeah, we had that before. You've had them. I mean, we're going to have Zippy Fish go 60 or so, 65, I think. But it feels like in previous years, we've had someone go huge. And I know we had, was it Guring go off the leash last year? But I don't know if we have that this year. Let me actually check this. Who was the one to go off the leash? I just want to say it was Guring. But like a couple of years ago, we had Nanscorn as well, 2 years ago. But you can see Guring went off the chain a little bit here. She was basically rookie priced and went off. So yeah, I just don't know if we have that as much this year. So it's going to be a lot of just suggesting sort of bench options and be like, this is your strongest forward candidate. This is your strongest midfield candidate, ruck candidate, etc. And I think Dunlop is just massively the strongest ruck candidate. You do have Murphy at the likes of Essendon, who was traded there because Wales went down. Which Wales was it? Let me double check. Steph Wales, is it? Yeah, Steph Wales went down. So you do have Courtney Murphy there. But I don't think that role was as enticing because I think Dyke might take a little bit there, but we'll see about that. I do think that Murphy does potentially get the start over Dyke, but maybe it's a shared role, and we don't really like that shared role because Dyke just sort of doesn't score as well. So she'll take a lot of the scoring potential out of Murphy. But yeah, Dunlop, number 1 ruck choice by a mile there at 300k. And if we go Dunlop here and we just use what we have here in the practice game, she scored 61 of that. And you'll look at the 61 and go, oh, that's not the greatest, but honestly, she's priced at like, what is it? She priced at 21, something like that, 22. So, yeah, she's priced at 23. So she's just gone 38 above. That's completely fine. That'll make cash. 38 above in her first game is genuinely going to make, like, I don't even know if we have it here. Let me just see if he does have it in terms of break even and price projections here. If we do the crazy thing of going Dunlop here, it doesn't actually have it, I don't think. But can I go a 300k girl here and do it? Let's just do this. If you see that, and let's run this back. So you see the likes of a, do we have a 23 or so? 24, I can use this. You can see here Matilda Sargent last year in the last round of the year was meant to make 70k for going 50, which would have been 26 above her break even. And that is about 70 divided by 26 is about 2.69k above for every point above the break even. If we look at this one for a Roxanne Rowe, 61k for a 22 above. 61 divided by 22 is about 2.77, so it's about 2.75 or so k made per point over break even. And we are talking about the likes of Dunlop in the practice game going 38 above her break even, which 38 times 2.75 is 100k made in round 1 if she just goes 60, which doesn't sound like it should happen, but I've definitely seen it happen because was it Maria Antonio or one of the Antonios, I swear, went up 223k from a 100 or a 99 a couple of years ago. Bacon, I think, is second in line to Wrench in the back line, and I just don't feel safe enough running one of those two on field. Now, Bacon has the role, and that gives me confidence. It's just she doesn't have the ability to score, and that's slightly problematic. But I think she will score in well, and I do think she'll make 200, 300k. It's just, it might be a slow burn with her. And a slow burn she might fail in round 1, she might fail in round 3. It might take her 5 weeks to make the 200k, whereas, like we said, with Dunlop or with a Wrench, they go 60-60, they're up, they're gone. They've got the 200k that quickly. But with Bacon, I just don't know when she's going to have that good game because she's got the role. It's just, is she going to score? Whereas Wrench has the role, and I'm pretty confident she's going to score. And it's just a confidence level with Bacon comparative to Wrench. I think Bacon probably averages 45-50, and Wrench probably in around that sort of 55 or so. And that slight difference, that massive difference is like 30K per week cash gen. If you're holding these girls for 3 or 4 weeks, to almost say definitely that that Wrench is gonna have 100K on Bacon is huge. So that's why I would definitely be going Wrench. But Bacon, like if we just look here, Bacon quickly, let's just look at this. You can see 20. She just couldn't really get her hands on it, which is not the best sign. And then we get to quite a lot of just weird picks, in all honesty. Newman, don't understand this. I don't even know. Did she even play in the practice game is a big question. Alicia Newman, she scored 16. You don't know. Just don't go there. And then you've got Moody, who's retired, so you can scrap that off. Hardingham, I don't even know she played. Let me just double check that. Hardingham, she scored 2. So if you want someone that's just going to get the worst break even possible for a basement player, then potentially go there. But no, you wouldn't be going with Hardingham when you've got the likes of Dunlop there, who's a starting ruck. Georgia Clark, no. I don't even think I don't even like some of these players are that low. She scored a 4 in the practice game. They're that low in my sort of in my not knowledgeness, but maybe just watch list that they're not even sort of mentioned, and they're highly owned, which is quite weird. But yeah, Clark, no. Boyd, I don't even know if played. Let me just check. She scored a 54. Decent, however, and I understand Boyd's ownership if you were looking at the practice scores. Problem is that I don't know if I know Kearney didn't play. I don't know if Sheeran played. Let me actually just check that, or if Sheeran played a half of footy. Sheeran played a half. So the problem with Boyd is that I don't think she gets into their best 22 or 21. Sorry. Let me just go and quickly look up some projected 21s here and just read them out. Well, not read them out, but just look at them. North Melbourne projected is Birch, Ferguson, Carney, Sheeran, Wright, and then O'Shea off the bench. There is no Boyd, and Boyd doesn't even make the quote-unquote emergency, so she's listed sort of in that 24 to 30 bracket, which is just not a good area to be picking up a 300K rookie. You want them designated in there. McDonald, she's been talked about quite a lot, and I'm more role-based when I'm picking players. And McDonald has shown scoring potential. It's just, for me, it feels more outlierish when you look at the historical evidence of players in the past. There is multiple players now that are leading goal kickers in the comp that came in and played and scored 40 in their first year. There's many as well, like even Georgia Clark came in last year and she was touted up so highly. If we just go to this and look her up here as well. Pretty sure I looked her up last year and had this sort of similar theory with her. But if we look at Georgia Clark last year, 173, so she's not as tall as the likes of McDonald. But if we look at her stats, she averaged 2 touches in the AFL, 1.5 tackles, and she kicked, I think, 1 goal. But if we look at her VFL season in 2024 and even 2023 as well for North Melbourne, she was doing not that well at the North Melbourne. Obviously, VFL for Collingwood, she did better. And then you can see under 18s for the Allies in that 2023, 14 touches, 1.7 marks, 4.7 tackles, 0.3 goals. And then for Tassie Devils, you can see how many games? 11 games, 15 touches, 4 marks, 4 hitouts, 5 tackles, 1.5 goals. If we then duplicate this, and I will show you the stats for Emma McDonald, this is why I'm concerned. And there obviously is differentness between them, etc. McDonald is a different type of forward, etc. But if we look at McDonald's stats here, and we look at her Coates League, you can see for Oakley Chargers, 13 games, 15 touches, 5 marks, 3.2 tackles, 2.8 tackles, 1.4 goals. If we look at the Vic Metro numbers for her, 8.7 disposals, 3.3 marks, 1.3 hitouts, 2 tackles, 1.7 goals as well. So you can kind of see the comparison there a little bit between those two, and just sort of how Clark had a massive drop off. I know the Collingwood side is horrific and the Western Bulldogs side will be better, but I just cannot see McDonald going too highly. This is probably the pick that I'll get wrong, because there's usually a pick that I get wrong, but I just don't see it in McDonald. Barwick, I don't think did too well or nothing. From memory, didn't even play. I was looking at these earlier with some of the rookies just for the F6 utility, which I'll get to in my team reveal on Wednesday. But yeah, Barwick didn't flash up. Lauren Young's injured. Cos is definitely one that will be a team sheet basis of a selection. We know that O'Dowd's back in the country, but we don't know if O'Dowd's going to play. If Cos gets lead ruck role, she's going to go 65 or something against Essendon, against Murphy. There's no real ruck there. So I am super, super happy to pick Cos, and no doubt if she, the likes of O'Dowd isn't there. If O'Dowd's there, then there is a slight worry. There may be a case still to go Cos, but I am a little bit concerned there if that is the case. Indy Strom, I don't think, what'd she do? 44, not the worst. Not going to be an influence, I don't think, in the long run. I think you'd rather a sort of midfielder or even a running half back over like an Indy Strom at a basement price, just because she's going to be a key defender. O'Rourke was someone that I was looking at going, who's going to be the, so if Dunlop's going to be the ruck, but is someone going to back her up? Is someone going to challenge her, etc. for Geelong? And O'Rourke did flash up a little bit, but yeah, I just can't see it with her, to be honest with you, this year. And then anyone else sort of in this range. Mackay's been one that's been definitely named to debut for Carlton on the Thursday night against the likes of Collingwood. So that'll be good for her. She's definitely one that's been, I've considered in the utility space, dependent on what happens with Central, which we'll get to in a little bit when we get into the 400k range. But yeah, Mackay is definitely one that should be looked at heavily, because she's going to play on a wing. A wing can have up and down scores, but all she needs is that one big game, because that one big game's probably in the end going to generate about 150k cash generation, that one anomaly outlier game. Bukar, Davidson, Stone is another one that's flashed up a little bit. Not Shanae Davidson, Laura Stone. Been one in this third year now. I think in her rookie year, she had a decent run from memory. And so she's one that sort of flashed up every single year, but never been able to take it, it feels like. In season 9, she played 7 games at 25. You can see she had this one big game in the Coates League in 2023. So nope, she was actually first year last year. But yeah, definitely one that you can see why people were talking about her. And why people are potentially looking at her. But I think she's just molded more into that sort of small forward role rather than the midfield role. And I don't think she's going to get that midfield role at Hawthorn this year. I think it's going to be that, doesn't even look like she is projected to start for them. So that kind of sucks. But yeah, just one that probably has to wait her time. Ott and Cox are probably the last couple, just looking here in the 300k range that we'll get to. Ott could be starting ruck. We'll see naming on team sheets whether Karras gets above her, but that'll be that. And if she is, then that's another sort of defender that you can go to, and maybe you look at that as well there. She did, if we look at the practice games here, go, I think it was 55 or something. Yeah, 55 here. You can see 9 hit outs, 11 touches, 9 hit outs is pretty decent. Not going to be the greatest. I don't think she's going to be one of those huge, like Dunlop could actually score pretty well, like the 55-60. I think Ott's probably more like the 45-50 range, but obviously things can change, and it only really takes one big game. That's the thing I'll say, is it only takes one big game for these cash generators to make money. If they pull out an 80 from absolutely nowhere, they're going to make like 150k, and it's going to have a flow-on effect of basically creating a negative break-even, which they'll make another 60k off that anyway the week after. So yeah, they just need one flashy game, and that'll be that for them for the cash generation. But yeah, Ott is probably someone I'm considering, but I just like the wrench and even almost the bacon over Ott as well. Maybe Ott over bacon, but that's a toss-up. Murphy, as we said basically earlier with the Dunlop, so you can go back to that. Cox is another one that in the forward line, she's playing down back and is more of that sort of, feels like from her stats and everything I'm hearing that she's more of that lockdown. Don't think she was on kick-ins, which is really going to hurt her potential because I think she had about 3 touches for a 40 or something. If we go to Cox here, you can see 43 on 5 touches. And she probably just needs an extra 5 touches. If she can guarantee herself 10 touches, she's probably going to score pretty well because she'll have something like 6 or so kicks, 3 or 4 handballs. What's that? Already about 30. Then add in a couple of marks and a couple of tackles. That's already a 45 or so. So yeah, she just needs about 10 touches a game and she'll be golden. But I just don't know if I can say confidently that she's going to get that. So that's why I'm probably off her more going towards that cause, or even I might even go with the McDonald, even though I don't rate the hype. It's just that she's at a perfect price point that if all hell breaks loose, then you can just move her on, etc. But if she does get off to a good start, then that's good. And then outside of that, you've got the likes of, I don't think there's anyone else here. Just looking at it quickly, let me just scroll a little bit through here. No, I don't think anyone. Painter's a wait and watch, but I don't think the role's going to be there in the middle. And I think that is about it. I don't think there's anyone else here, just looking at it quickly. So that is that there. Then we go to the 400k range, and the first one obviously is Zibby Fish. She is an absolute gun and she's going to score really well. 53% owned. You pretty much just lock her in at M5, M6, whatever you want, which one. Basically, she's either, yeah, she's probably going to end up potentially on field because of restructures and stuff like that after a couple of rounds potentially. But yeah, she's just going to do really well there at halfback for Sydney. And is going to be a joy to watch. Centre as well, if she gets up and there's names, she's probably going to play off half forward, which will be a little bit annoying, but she still has such a capacity to score. So I'm definitely, she didn't play. Let me just check that. No, she didn't play. So yeah, if we just go here to this one and look at her junior numbers, if I can grab up the right one here, if I can type it for some reason. And we look at this one, it's not going to do it. So let's just put that in there. And here we go. And you'll see obviously her numbers are going to be more midfield based, but you can see it in the national champs. She still averaged 19 touches, 2.7 marks, 2.7 tackles and a goal a game. And then in her Gippsland Power days, 27 touches, 4 marks, 4 tackles and a goal a game. She's going to score. Like, she just has that ability, that knack to pick up the footy. And she'll probably still get her sort of 10, 15 touches a game. She'll probably get, I think she's probably going to average sort of that 13 touch, 2 mark, 2 tackle sort of effort, which if you think about that, that's probably going to be in and around that 45, 50 range anyway, which will be perfect as well. And she'll have the potential to just have one of those flash games where she just goes off the chain. So yeah, I think it's just an obvious one that you pick up, and if she fails, then you move her on to someone else after 2 rounds or so. But yeah, that'll be that. But obviously, if she doesn't get up, we move her on to someone else, probably looking at someone like a Fitzpatrick, which is someone that I'm surprised isn't on this first list. But yeah, Tonin, 459k, not a rookie. And then we just go down here. Brown's just above it, so I will talk about her. I'm a little bit colder on her compared to probably a little bit others as well. I just don't know if there's too much upside there. I know she's priced at like 34, 35, but yeah, I just don't know if there's terribly much upside. Yeah, she's probably priced it. No, she's more priced around that 30. Where am I looking? About a 33, 32, I think is what she's priced at. But yeah, just not one I'm too keen on compared to others at that price, just because I think you can spend a little bit down and get a better role in wrench there in that line. The forward line is one that that F6 role I have pondered for like 3 or 4 days. And Butler's definitely been one in consideration. Massive scoring power when she was more that roaming halfback. Not going to be that this year, I don't think. More so that not distributor, that more so that lockdown defender. She could still be on a couple kick-ins per game. She has scored in the past with a 52 and a 58 season before she was injured and playing up forward in the latter half of last year, as you can see. So she scored in the past and taken kick-ins. And this was in shortened seasons as well. Shortened game time. That 58 is equated to about 66. So she could still score well, and I think she will. But the problem is that she's priced at 35. And can she go that plus 15 or so? It's a concern, obviously, with that role. But I think she can sort of go in and around that marker. But it'll be touch and go more than sort of that 50 or so, I would say, with her looking at everything. And then anything else here? Versio, much too expensive. Howley's going to play on a wing, it looks like, for the likes of GWS. And then Fitzpatrick here, as I was sort of alluding to. Half forward coming into the contest, she could be one that does break out and is a wait and watch and a concern. I feel like I kind of want Centra to be out just so that I can cover off. Because, yeah, she's the one that I'm concerned about with the role and everything. So, yeah, is one that might have to be moved on to quickly if she does go off the chain here. And then that's pretty much it for anyone that I'm looking at. Tahu, someone that I've looked at a little bit recently, but I just can't like that role with her price tag there, to be honest with you. I would much rather the cheapness of the likes of Cos in that same similar role-ish. But yeah, that pretty much is it, for the rookies for AFLW, and it rounds out sort of my position by position as well as the rookie series there on the channel, just in time for the start of the season with just under 3 days to go. Just looking back here, if you guys did want to join the league, as I've sort of been sprouting a little bit in the last couple of videos, remember to use the invite code here that I will put on the screen here as well, 6Z5NB0LE is the code. It'll be in the description as well on both YouTube and Spotify for you guys. But anyway, that is the video there. If you guys did enjoy it, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I not only upload the men's and the women's content for AFL, but when I also go live, which I'll be going live 7:30 on the Wednesday, sort of just a general preseason wrap up, and then Thursday we will be doing team sheets as well as we head into the AFLW season proper. But anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow for AFL men's trade talk for round 23. So I'll see you guys then. Bye, guys.